Let's talk about something that can feel incredibly scary and isolating: a panic attack. Our goal today is to pull back the curtain on this experience, to really understand what's happening inside your body and mind, and maybe find a path from that feeling of intense fear back to a place of control. I know, it's a shocking question, but if you've ever had a panic attack, that feeling is probably all too familiar. That sudden, overwhelming certainty that your body is shutting down, that this is it. It's absolute terror, and today we're going to face it head on. And here's the absolute heart of the matter, right here in the definition. It's an explosion of fear that happens when there's no real danger around. Your body is screaming danger at the top of its lungs, but a part of you knows you're perfectly safe. And that disconnect, well, that's what makes it so unbelievably terrifying. So let's start with the experience itself. What does a panic attack actually feel like? And just how long does this nightmare last? You might look at this and think, that's it? 10 to 20 minutes? But for anyone who's been through it, you know, those can be the longest 10 or 20 minutes of your entire life. When you're in it, it feels like an absolute eternity. Okay, so to really get a grip on this, we've got to look at how a panic attack basically hijacks your body and your mind. The symptoms really fall into two different but totally connected categories. Think of it like this. There are two battles happening at once. On one side, you've got the physical symptoms, all the very real, very intense things happening inside your body. And on the other, the psychological ones, the storm of thoughts and fears racing through your mind. Let's break them both down. First, let's talk about the physical stuff. Your heart starts pounding like it's trying to escape your chest. You can't seem to get enough air, no matter how hard you gasp. You might feel dizzy, your hands might start shaking, or you could get a sharp pain in your chest. Then comes the sweating, maybe some tingling in your arms and legs, or even feeling sick to your stomach. It's your body's fight or flight system going completely haywire. And while all of that is happening physically, your mind is just spiraling. All those physical feelings trigger these intense fears. You become absolutely convinced you're dying, that this is a heart attack. You feel like you're losing your grip, you're going crazy. Some people feel like they're choking or get this really bizarre feeling that the world around them isn't real anymore. So you're probably wondering, where on earth do these things come from? They feel like they just hit you out of the blue, right? But often there are triggers hiding beneath the surface. Let's look at a few real-world examples to see what I mean. Picture this. A guy is just driving, minding his own business, when bam, his heart goes crazy and he can't breathe. He pulls over, terrified, thinking he's having a heart attack. He gets rushed to the hospital, and the doctors run every test, only to come back and say, your heart is perfectly fine. It was a panic attack. Or what about this one? A young guy in a super stressful job. The pressure has been building for weeks. Then one day, he suddenly feels dizzy. His hands go numb. He's sure he's about to faint right there at his desk. But it's not a physical collapse. It's his body's extreme reaction to all that built-up stress. This is a really powerful one because it shows how our own thoughts can become the trigger. A woman watches a scary video about an illness. Her anxiety grabs onto it, and later, her mind actually starts creating the very symptoms she's afraid of. The shortness of breath, the fear, creating this awful feedback loop. And get this, they aren't just limited to when you're awake. Can you imagine waking up from a dead sleep, heart hammering, feeling like you're suffocating? It's incredibly disorienting. That's called a nocturnal panic attack, and it just shows how deep this stuff can be wired into our nervous systems. Okay, so all of these stories, all of these symptoms, they all boil down to one single terrifying question that everyone who goes through this asks. It's the question that sits right at the center of all that fear. With a heart that feels like it's going to explode, with your mind screaming that you're about to die, can a panic attack actually physically hurt you? Can it be fatal? And the answer, confirmed by decades of medical science, is an emphatic no. It's not just probably not, it's no. As awful and as terrifying as it feels, a panic attack is not medically dangerous. It will not stop your heart, it will not kill you. It's a false alarm, a very, very loud one, but a false alarm nonetheless. Now here's a really important distinction. While one attack won't hurt you, the real problem can become the fear of having another one. When that fear becomes so big that you start avoiding places or situations, you stop driving, you don't go to the store, that's when it can turn into something called panic disorder. So we've defined it, we've looked at the symptoms, and we know it isn't actually dangerous. Now for the most important part. How do you start to take back control? What do you do? One of the most immediate tools you have is, well, your own breath. When you feel that panic start to bubble up, try this. A slow breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it for just a count of 2. And then a long, slow exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. That simple action helps calm your nervous system right down. It sends a signal to your brain that says, hey, we're safe. Here's another really practical thing to look at: what you're putting into your body. Stimulants, caffeine from coffee, tea, and especially those high-powered energy drinks, they can rev up your nervous system, basically making it easier for that panic button to get pushed. Cutting back can make a surprising difference. And of course, sometimes you need to call on the professionals, and that's more than okay. The most effective long-term treatment is a type of therapy called CBT. It basically teaches you to recognize the thought patterns that lead to panic and gives you the tools to stop them in their tracks. In some situations, a doctor might also prescribe medication to help get things under control. But really, it all comes down to this. The moment you can say to yourself, okay, my heart is racing, my hands are tingling, I know what this is. This is adrenaline. It's a panic attack. It feels awful, but it's not dangerous and it will pass. That's the moment you start to steal its power. Understanding what's happening makes the monster a whole lot smaller. So we're going to leave you with a new question. Fear loves confusion, but it can't stand up to knowledge. You now know what's happening in your body. So the question is no longer, why is this happening to me? It's something much more powerful. Now that I get it, how am I going to face it?